Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch investments video for you guys tonight. Got a plethora of things I'm going to be showcasing for you guys. These are going to be my personal selections, and I do hope that you enjoy. Getting things kickstarted tonight is going to be Foolish Burial. This is going to be the Dual Terminal 5 Commons. This is an insanely cheap card right now, insanely affordable, really good card, obviously one of in the majority of pretty much any graveyard eccentric decks. And there actually is a 9-stack here for roughly around 2 bones before you factor in shipping from Top Deck TCG. Incredible price point. It starts to trickle up after that, only 3 pages of availability, but this is an insanely good card. More than likely, it's probably not going to come off the list past 1. It's just ridiculously an overpowering card, really, really good. But, I mean, who knows? Konami's really unpredictable with the list. But regardless of the fact, this is still at 1. It's been at 1 for a long time. And it's pretty much a standard one of in the majority of decks. So, really, really great stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the secret rare versions from Legendary Collections 4 as the highest technicality, highest rarity of this card. Really great stuff. Starting market price is going to be roughly around 9 bones for a lightly played first edition. Then near mint is going to go for a phantom under 10 bones. And if you guys are interested in stacks, we'll go ahead and switch over. First stack, starting market price is about 9 bones. Again, lightly played first edition. And only 2 availabilities for the stacks on that. So really, really great rarities, depending on what you guys want. An all-around just complete blowout card in general. The Lost Art promotionals, uncensored artwork is really great, but you know they made it a really crappy rarity of ultra rare, so that's severely unfortunate on them. But super rares are pretty cool too. Turbo Pack Booster 2, you know, obviously this has huge collectability, you know, fanboy fodder for collector stuff, but it's hard to attain, it's hard to get, and there's not that many in the market, so you know it's old, so it's going to hold great price value. But ideally, in my personal opinion, White Mexican theory, the first edition secrets and the DT commons are going to be for the price of the healthier alternatives. Next is going to be Compulsory Evacuation Device. This is going to be the Dual Terminal 3 common. This is just an amazing card in general. This is still a very, very powerful card. For the longest time, this was hit to 1 on the list, and then a couple years back, it went completely unlocked, so lifted off the list to 3. Starting market price for this version is near mint. It's going to be roughly around 3 bones. And let's go ahead and switch over to stacks. Looks like there's only 2 pages of availability, so this is, like with the majority of DT prints, is quickly dwindling on the market. And for the stacks, starting market price is going to be a little bit over 3 bones before you factor in shipping, and there is 4 separate 3 stacks here. So pretty incredible price points on that. Alternatively, there are the Legendary Collection secret rares, which look just as good, if not even better. Ideally, personally, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Dual Terminal Commons. They are great. I've invested very heavily in the Dual Terminal Commons, several copies myself that I own, but the Legendary Collection 4 and a very infamous Legendary Collection 3 and 4, these sets ran parallel. They printed a lot of the same cards and the same rarities. These are my all-time favorite Legendary Collection subsets, right up there with Legendary Collection Kaiba. Just a really amazing stuff. If you guys have the time, I highly recommend that you guys look and invest in some of the first edition secrets. And let's go ahead and start with Legendary Collection 4 here. Starting market price for this is going to be, first edition lightly played is about 3 bones. And we'll go ahead and switch over to stacks, and it's pretty much 3 bones again across the board. Starts to trickle up after that. Only 3 pages, 3 listings, well 3 pages in general, and then 3 listings for stacks on that version. Now keep in mind, Legendary Collection 3 was the set before this, so it is a little bit older, not significantly older, but relatively enough older than Legendary Collection 4. And I mean, personally, just like, I'm more of a Yugi fan than I am, you know, a Joey fan, so, you know, and this is just older in general, so in my personal opinion, it's going to be worth a little bit more. There is not even a single stack available for lightly played near mints for this, so that's severely unfortunate. It looks like Unlimiteds are roughly around 2 bones for lightly played, near mint is around 3. First edition is a lightly played for 3 bones, and there's only 4 pages, so incredibly enough, there's significantly an amount less of the original first edition prints Dawning on Legendary Collection 3 as opposed to the Legendary Collection 4 secondary reprint secrets. Both amazing rarities, though. I would not, disregard, don't discount Legendary Collection 4 just because it's a little bit newer than Legendary Collection 3. They're both very much the high rarities of secret rares, mirror secret rares, and of course always go first edition print. Obviously, Turbo Pack Booster 4, collectability purposes, this has really great value, but I mean, it's, as far as aesthetics, like, this card is just like way, it's way overpriced. It's so much significantly more higher than the secrets and the DTs, and the secrets and the DTs, in my personal opinion, just look amazing in pretty much every way. Invasion of Chaos rares were also the original print, so if you guys can pick up first editions of those on the cheap, that would be really cool too. All right, so next is going to be Tour Bus from the Underworld. I talk about this card a lot because I feel extremely compassionate about this card. This is an ideal collector's market card for so many reasons. It has amazing artwork. It has the lure of kind of like the whole tour guide base theme. It's a high rarity of secret rare, dawning out of a very, very old set, Order of Chaos. This was a really awesome set. We got Inzectors in this set. We got Wind-Ups in this set. We got a lot of amazing decks that premiered out of this set. Amazing history merit behind this set. And this was just a really fun time in Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. So, this is just a really great card. I mean, Tour Guide, obviously, it's not as playable. It doesn't have as much of playability as the OG Tour Guide. But it's in time, like, with rarity and age and artwork alone, this is gonna skyrocket in price, and this is well on its way to bleeding all the way through into the collector's market. Again, I highly recommend you guys exclusively for like 99.9% of this content, you invest in first edition. So first edition lightly played is definitely going to be around 6-ish bones if you factor in that shipping. If you want a near mint first edition, you're going to have to do a little bit of a deeper dive. 4 pages of availability here on TCGP, and it looks like we're not getting any near mint first editions until the last page, which is going to be roughly around 11 bones. I am going to quickly switch over to stacks. There is one single stack of 7 for 12 bones for first edition near mint. Now, this may sound steep. You're like, oh my goodness, 12 bones per copy. Sounds like kind of a lot, especially seeing how this card for the longest time was like around 3-4 bones, and it maintained that price point, and that's where I invested the majority of my personal copies. But I totally see this card, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but within the next couple years, this is going to be an extremely discounted price for near mint first editions. That's pretty incredible. So I'd be really, really surprised if someone doesn't scoop this up pretty quick, because honestly, this card is going up, I promise you. Next is going to be Shared Ride. So another card I talk about a lot, but I feel really compassionately about this card. This card is really, really good. It has the diversity of being a quick play, so you can play it from your hand on your turn, set it ideally, and activate on your opponent's turn, get a lot of draw power out of it. And it's not once per turn. It's literally, well, I mean, you can only activate one per turn, but the effect of drawing is continuous. So every time they dig for a card from their graveyard, search a card from their deck to the hand, dig one out of the graveyard, you instantaneously +1. It is a high rarity secret rare, and it just has completely blowout artwork. I mean, you have Delinquent Duo Demon here, you got Graceful Charity, Angel, you have Sangan, you have these like Oni demons in the back, and it's just, you know what this reminds me of? If you guys ever played, like, back in the day, like, I'm super old, the White Mexican's super old, I'm 29 now, so, like, back in the day, when I was, like, in middle school, like, 2005 era, when Resident Evil 4 came out for PlayStation 2, they're one of, like, the last levels, you're, like, in, like, this mine, like, these mine carts, and, like, you're, like, fighting your enemies through, like, these mine carts as you're, like, going down through these tunnels, and I don't know, that kind of reminds me of that. But I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I love just the video games. The movies were terrible, but the video games are really amazing. Anyway, so starting market price, keep in mind as well, there is a mirrored secret rare, Megaton secret rare print as well, which is probably going to be significantly more affordable, and I would not discredit. Now, obviously, people are going to want the original prints out of Legacy Valiant, relatively older set now, and it's going to hold relatively more value than the Megaton reprints, but again, we'll get into those in a little minute, in a little bit here. So, lightly played unlimited is roughly, we could be a Phantom under or about roughly around 3 bones. Near mint is going to be around 4 before you factor in shipping. There's 3 pages of availability here. First edition is going to be near mint, have gone all the way up to 9 bones. So again, this sounds like a lot of money. This sounds like this is, and it has increased. I mean, I feel like the last time I reviewed this not that long ago, this card was at like 5-6 bones, and now it's like pretty much almost double to, again, this price point of like, almost going to 10. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to stacks. Lightly played first edition is about 10 bones, and then another 3 stack here for 10 bones. So pretty good price points. I mean, obviously it's seen a significant influx in increase in value, but keep in mind, again, if you guys feel like that's a little bit steep, you can go ahead and check out the mirrored Megatin secret rare starting on a Megatin 2014. And these, again, are the same rarity of secret rare. You can still get first edition prints, and they're really like pretty much the same. The only thing that's going to be different is this Mega Pack 14 stamp, which is completely fine. Do not discredit these, because these are like 2 bones. Like you can see one right here, like lightly played or near mint. They're all pretty much just 2 bones all across the board. There's 5 pages of availability, so I'm going to switch over to stacks here. I'm really curious to see. So unfortunately, it does increase of 3 bones, so a significant increase for the stack starting market price. 5 bones for near mint first editions. There's a 3 stack, and then it goes to 6 for another 3 stack, and just continue on after that. So again, this is half the price of the original prints. So completely up to you guys, player preference. I already have many copies of the original prints just because I've been trailing this card for the longest time, and for all those reasons I mentioned before, these 2 secret rare prints are just going to go places fast. So next is going to be Black Horn of Heaven. This is specifically the ultimate rare version starting out of Cyber Dark Impact. This set is insanely old. This card is an amazing high rarity of ultimate rare. Kind of you can't really see it. I mean, sometimes unfortunately the photos here in TCGP, they come out really dark or depixelated, and you can't really see the quality of the artwork or anything. But up close and in person, it does look very, very nice. It's not as dark as it appears here in this photo. And there is a limitation, so I don't know if you guys know, but there's a little bit more of like an underlining limitation on this card. You can only negate inherit summons with this card. So to my understanding, I mean, I'm not like a super Coindexter on the rules, and this game has a lot of layers to the ruling, but basically, like, if your opponent goes to like bust out a BLS from the hand or a Stardust Dragon from an actual like tuner synchro summon Stardust Dragon or Black Rose or anything pretty much from the extra deck, it gets a little tricky with fusion cards, with fusion monsters. But pretty much anything that's what they consider, I guess, if the appropriate terminology is an inheritance summon, you can just straight up negate off the board. It is obviously a counter trap, which is amazing. You can the only thing they can counter with this was another counter trap, so it's a very, very fast and powerful card. And again, high rarity, a really, really old card. And for the longest time, I have so many of these too. First edition Ultimates, and they are, for the longest time, these cards were like 2-3 bones, if that, even like more affordable at some points. Really, really insane. Starting market price, specifically for this version, lightly played unlimited, is going to be roughly around 11 bones after you factor in shipping. First edition lightly played is going to go all the way up to almost 28 bones here. If you want near mint first edition, the starting market price is going to be almost, a phantom under 40 bones, about 38 bones here. So we're going to switch over to stacks, check out the stacks availability. 30 bones for the starting market price for lightly played first edition. So insane. And then there is, let's see here, 4 pages of availability. So and I know, again, and this is obviously, this is a really old card, and, it's pretty relatively steep price point comparing to where it came from that like $3-4 market price. I'm going to check out the other versions because there is secret rares and there's also dual terminal commons, which again, like more specifically the dual terminal commons, because I think the secret rares are relatively expensive. They're not. So here is the Legendary Collection 3 again. So just goes to prove you guys need to be checking out Legendary Collections like 3, 4, and Kaiba. I'm telling you, there's just completely just ridiculous value in these sets, and there has been for so long. And it's not only until I feel like just like the last couple years, people finally just have started to realize and accept that what like a gem mine that these legendary collection sets are, specifically for the first edition secrets for the most part. And okay, so they're roughly around a bone. Lightly played first edition is a bone before you factor in shipping, and then near mints go to a little less than a bone and a half. I'll switch over to stacks here. There's a single stack of 3 for roughly around a bone and a half, but then you got this sneaky side shipping of 3 bones. So really not a lot of availability for stacks on the secret rare version. But honestly, even though this is high rarity of secret rare and an amazing set, personally I would recommend that you guys, and me myself, I've invested a lot more heavier in the ultimate rares, naturally, obviously because of high rarity, but even more so the dual terminal 1 commons. And still to the day, this card is insanely cheap. Like, their first starting market price here is a bone. There's only 3 pages of availability, and then the first stack here is 12, but it's still very, very affordable around the bone price point. And this is insane. Here's a 3 stack here. I really cannot believe that a caliber of a card like this is still this affordable on the market, specifically for dual terminal prints. It's insane. You guys really need to get on this. This is really good stuff. So, all right, I talk about DT probably too much, but it's really good stuff. All right, so next is going to be Tragodia. This is the ultra rare out of the Shonen Jump magazine promos. This card has like 3 different effects. This card's like insanely old, but it's super good. It's got like this dark spider looking artwork, and of course there's an ultimate rare and a starfoil rare, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. Ideally, for the price, I still believe that this is the best. Now, granted, I kind of have like this running joke about ultra rares. I bag on ultra rares all the time. Personally, I really I'm completely like disgusted with ultra rares. There's just something about ultra rares. I really do not like them. But like first edition Gen 1 ultra rares, and like Shonen Jump ultra rares, and Duelist Saga ultra rares, and DT ultra rares, like those are like the very small groupings of ultra rares that I actually choose to invest in, that I can actually appreciate and that I really like. This obviously being a Shonen Jump ultra rare, Shonen Jump being discontinued, automatic collector's value per se. Starting market price for this is going to be roughly around 4 bones if you factor in shipping for lightly played, and then again, there's 3 stack here for near mint. So really quick, just for stacks, there is a single 3 stack here for again roughly around 4 bones for near mint. So quickly dwindling on that. For the longest time, I feel like there was a lot more availability of this card, and still for what this is, being that it's a Shonen Jump Ultra, and it's a really good card. Like, a lot of people don't know that this card was very heavily played back in the day, and it has 3 effects, and it's just another awesome boss dark fiend monster. So there is the Turbo Pack booster for Ultimate Rares, which obviously are going to be holding the fattest price point with the highest rarity of Ultimate Rare. Really, really great. Again, this picture does not do it justice. The card looks a lot better in person. And starting market price, there's a Spanish one here, lightly played, for 65. First English lightly played is going to go up to 67. If you want near mint, it goes all the way up to 74, and there is a 2 stack here. Let's check availability of stacks. There's 2 stacks, a 3 and a 4 of, and the starting price for near mints for stacks is going to be 85. So significant increase in this card, but honestly, it's a really good card. It's an amazing rarity of Ultimate, and then again, Turbo Pack is insanely old, so that's not too surprising. The last I want to check is actually going to be Battle Pack Epic Dawn, specifically the Star Foil Rares, first edition exclusively. Again, Star Foils, not the black rares, not the white rares, the Star Foil Rares that are first edition. And this is very, very, very affordable. I'm already here on 3 stacks. Lightly played first editions are not even a bone. There is a 4 stack here, a 3 stack here for a half a bone. And there's plenty of first edition stacks here available, 2 pages, and unfortunately there's no image, but Starfoil, White Mexican Theory, I really truly do believe that Starfoil is going to be like the next generation augmented collector's market of DTs. DTs are already pretty much dwindling. They're already pretty much being eradicated from the market and seeing some pretty crazy numbers, and these are kind of like in the same format. And I just again, like, I personally just really, really like Starfoils a lot, specifically for the first editions. And some of the best cards of like all for these specifically for geared specifically for collector's value is honestly Tour Guide right here and Injection Fairy Lily. These cards are insane. Like I can't get away from it. Like the playability, the history merit, the artwork, like they're right up there. In my personal opinion, these cards are trailing right behind. I mean, they're not quite there yet, obviously in price point, but their popularity, their rarity, and all those things I mentioned before, they are like, you know, just like a phantom behind Dark Magician Girl. Like I really truly believe that. This card is insane. For 3 stacks, there's only there's three availabilities for first editions. Near mint starts for roughly around 3 bones, and then there's a bone of shipping that goes directly to 8, and then 10 bones. So again, like this sounds like kind of steep because like for the longest time these cards used to be like under a bone. They were like pennies on the dollar. They were super cheap. But this is a really good rarity, and I think the player base is finally starting to realize. And you know, with Tour Guide just being like one of the most iconic female waifu cutesy collector's cards, where I wanted to see Injection Fairy Lily. Maybe if it might not be the set, it might be another set maybe. But really quick, I do like to review because again, Tour Guide, Injection Fairy Lily are just kind of like complete, like, you know, the cornerstones. I guess it was a different set that it was in. Anyway, check it out. It's really good stuff. So that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, next is going to be Graceful Charity. This is specifically the first print ever, super rare, Downing Out of Star Deck Pegasus. This is my favorite print of this card. We have a lot of amazing prints of this, but this is my favorite print because it's the first print. You know, it's not every day that we get our first print of a card from a starter deck, especially in Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! That was really cool. And of course, it has the magic stamp here, so very nostalgic, amazing Gen 1 history merit and value on that. One of the most infamous man draw cards of all time, right up there with Pot of Greed, which is right here. And let's see, so unlimiteds, again, like always, they're unlimited, so they're pretty much useless. They're only a couple bones. They're really not going to, I mean, eventually, maybe in several years, I mean, this card is already insanely old. I mean, it's almost pretty much as old as the game itself, but what's going on here? Let me refresh this really quick. The first editions are going to be where you're going to want to check. So I'm checking stacks right now. First edition lightly played, they've gone all the way up to 24. Amazingly enough, this seller has 24, a stack of 24, which is very impressive. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off and give you guys a little bit more accurate description for the onesie twosies. It looks like there's a 1 stack here for 6 bones, so pretty much starting market price for the non-stacks lightly played is about 6 bones. And if you want near mint first edition, that's going to be a little bit of a deeper dive here. Okay, so a very deep dive. Apparently, there's only first edition near mints on the last page, but it doesn't really matter. They're the same price. They're you know, I mean, it's actually cheaper. The stacks here is cheaper than the one-ofs right here for the 24. So 22 versus 24. This one has, you know, the ability to buy in bulk. So obviously you're going to go for that if you're going to want to drop funds. Anyway, an amazing card. There's also the Hobby League Parallel Ultras, Hobby League 4. These are so gorgeous. I love this. Honestly, I really do appreciate the original first edition Magic Stamp Super Rares, but this definitely takes the cake in aesthetics. The just parallel ultra foiling in this card, and you know, keep in mind, granted, obviously, like Upper Deck manufactured these, they're a little bit thicker. They're not really necessarily like playable in like higher echelons of tournament play because they bow a lot and it's technically marking card, so be aware of that. And this card is this price point is skyrocketed. I mean, starting market price for this card is already 42 bones, and there's only one page, only a handful of listings here. Surprisingly enough, there's a lot of stacks. Maybe it's thinking that I still have 3 of. So let me just switch over really quick. No, there is just pretty much just stacks available besides this too. But this, yeah, again, just like kind of like Dual Terminal and all these obscure subsets, Hobby League is just this very old, obscure side set that was just, you know, not sought after for like the longest time. I don't even feel until like relatively recently, maybe within the last 3 to maybe even 5-ish years that people really just started to really lock down and notice on this, and this Hobby League just looks really great, especially for the Parallel Ultras specifically. It's really great stuff. Of course, there is the secret rares. So ideally, my number one is going to be the Stardeck Pegasus first editions. And then, Hobby League 4, and then of course there's once again, can't get away from it, Legendary Collection 3 Yugi's World Secret Rares. Very, very amazing. By the way, this was a censored artwork. If you guys didn't know, OCG in Japan, they actually have halos on this. They look really, really nice. So hopefully Konami gets their crap together and decides to release a Lost Art promo with the original artwork of Graceful Charity, but not in the disgusting rarity of Ultra Rare. Please, Konami, get your head straight and start manufacturing Secret Rare Lost promo arts. That would be completely superior in every way. Anyway, starting market price, Unlimited is 32. And Lightly Played Unlimited is 32. Near Mint goes all the way up to 36. The first edition as a Lightly Played goes up to 37. And then Near Mint first edition goes up to 55 bones. Only 2 pages of availability on this. So it must just be, there's a lot of things. This is an extremely amazing high history merit Gen 1 collector's card, amazing artwork, amazing rarity, and there's just, again, there's like people played with this card when they were kids. There's so many, the biggest thing is this has that infamous band history nostalgia factor, and just there's so many things going on with this card. It's pretty ridiculous. So all across the board, we can even look at the Battle Pack 2. Again, these are Mosaic. Oh, disgusting. I think Mosaic looks really digitalized and just disgusting. I don't personally invest in Mosaic rares. I do like the Starfoils. The Starfoils look completely superior in every way, in my opinion. The Mosaic rares come off really digitalized, and I do not recommend. But, it's holding good price points. Someone somewhere down the line invested heavily in these, and you can see, starting market price is 8 bones for Near Mint first editions. There's only 2 pages of availability. I personally would not invest in that version. If it was Starfoil, I would totally be over it, but it's Mosaic, so not really a big fan. But the original Supers First, Secrets, and Parallel Ultras are ideal. Next is going to be Rider of the Storm Winds. This is the Ultra Rare version reprint out of Legendary Collection Kaiba. I just really like this card a lot. I got kind of this strange fascination with level 1s. I'm really big into level 1s. I like Dragon Light decks in general. And, this is a tuner level 1. And, just fanboy fodder for Blue Eyes. No one really uses this card, but I think it's still kind of good for what it is. Other versions are all common, so this is going to be kind of the best we have here. This card is pennies on the dollar, so I'm going to switch over to 3 stacks. There's a 7-stack Near Mint first edition for a quarter. And it doesn't even reach the 1 bone mark at the end of the first page. 5 pages availability. So I really like this card, and this card's insanely cheap, and I think it's kind of undervalued. So I just wanted to kind of shine some light on it really quick. All right, so next is going to be Mermaid Abyss. Salad. I call this Salad. This card's name is Salad. And this card is ridiculously good. So it got a reprint. The 2020 donned a super reprint, which, this card is definitely, in my opinion, it's good enough to be a secret rare, honestly. I really feel that they should have made it a secret rare. It's that good. This card is ridiculously good. Mermaid and Lantian is probably, up there with, I guess, maybe, Frog Monarchs or Frog, I'm not really sure. Honestly, I love water stuff. Some of my favorite water stuff is, Gishki and, obviously, Atlantean Mermaid. I'm kind of blanking on the other water decks that I really like, but water's a really big deal for me personally. I like investing in a lot of water-based stuff, and across the board, it goes without saying, if you think of a competitive, fun, fanboy fodder, infamous water deck, the majority of the players are going to say Mermaid Atlantean. Mermaid Atlantean has been around for a long time. It goes in and out of competitive play, and it never, ever goes out of style. And there's little to... I'm sure there's people that despise the deck, but there's a lot more people that like it than... It's like Black Wings. It's like Black Wings. Like everyone loves Black Wings. Everyone loves Atlantean Mermaid. It's a good, fun collector's deck, and, It can be a casual deck made competitive, and there's a lot of ways you can go with it. So anyway, and the best thing about this card is it's insanely cheap. It's very good. It's insanely cheap, and it's part of a very, very infamous and fanboy favorite deck. So anyway, it's pretty much a bone all across the board. Here's near mint first edition for a bone. I switch over to stacks here. Lightly played first edition from top deck TCG. Again, a bone across the board. There's a fat stack of 20, and there is 3 pages availability. So this is really good. It's insanely cheap. I highly recommend that you guys pick this card up in bulk, because who knows. All right, next is going to be some Duel Saga stuff. So the next couple cards are going to be specifically from this set. If you guys know, I'm a huge Advent fan of Duel Saga. Talk about it probably as much as I do Dual Terminal, and maybe even not quite as much as Legendary Collections 3, but really, really great stuff. This was the only set still to the day that had this special ultra rare foiling. No other set in the entire TCG. I don't even think in Japan. Like when I lived in Japan for 2 years, and I didn't even see this in the OCG. Like I don't even believe that they have this rarity. So this is like a TCG exclusive rarity. It's really great. Some people don't really like it. I personally like it. I do know that I'm not alone. I know a lot of people do really appreciate this special ultra rare foiling, and this was the only set in the entire TCG to manufacture this special laser beam looking ultra rare foiling. Again, I'm not a big fan of ultra rares, but these look great. I really, really like these a lot. And this is a relatively good card. You guys can pause the video, read it. You know, it has obviously Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, so great fanboy fodder for collector stuff there. It is a solo print again, and being from Duel Saga, you know, a one of for its rarity. And you know, this card's like roughly around 2 bones. I mean, we can see here, near mint first edition is roughly 2 bones, and you factor in shipping, 4 pages of availability. Gonna switch over to stacks. When you get to the stacks, it goes to 2. Here's a 5 stack for near mint first edition. I don't think that this set was produced unlimited. I don't think I've even seen an unlimited version of Duel Saga. I don't think that, you know, it was a 2016 set, if I'm not mistaken. I was actually in Korea at the time, and it's really cool. It's a really great set. So that's one selection I wanted to showcase. Next is going to be Bro Hunter. So, you know, obviously Thunder Dragons, I'm not saying that you're going to use this in Thunder Dragons, but Thunder Dragons is probably like one of the most infamous Thunder-based deck archetype cores of all time. Really great rarity, really great artworks, really competitive. You know, Colossus is a beast, and, you know, one of the most infamous synchro fusion monsters of all time. Anyway, again, this is just another solo print specifically from Duel Saga, and the artwork's kind of silly. This guy like looks like a really like flaming like cheerleader boy. I don't really know what's going on here. It's kind of questionable artwork here, but it's a solo print, and you know, it's just a generic summon search. Level 4, so really great fodder for rank 4 XYZ play, which is really awesome. So anyway, and this card's insanely cheap. I mean, it's pretty much a quarter all across the board here. There is a fat 13 stack here for, again, a little bit over a quarter, 5+ pages. This is insanely cheap. This is a really great rarity from a really infamous set, and it is a solo print. Same with Clear Effector. So the sheer fact that the draw 1 is kind of like icing on the cake, that's pretty awesome, but the big bang for your buck for this card is going to be the sheer fact that the synchro monster that you bust out with this, it can't be destroyed by card effects. That is huge. That is really, really good. And you know, unfortunately, they didn't make it a tuner. Obviously, that would have been a lot more luxurious if they made it a tuner. But still, the sheer fact that you get a +1 and you get to defend your monster, and it's like a built-in continuous effect, really, really awesome. And they made it a light again, so I really like chaos builds, so I'm kind of always like oriented to like dark and light type materials and stuff. So, and the best thing again, you know, this is insanely cheap. We're going to go ahead and switch over to stacks here. There is a 3 stack here for not even a quarter, and there's a 99 stack here for roughly around 30 cents. So plenty of availability, 4+ pages for stacks. Again, really infamous set, really great rarity, and a solo print. Alright, so next is going to be Wandering King Wild Win. So earlier, when I was making these tabs for the content, this was completely sold out. There wasn't even a single copy here on the market. It looks like this store here has one copy here, and it's gone all the way up to 20 bones. Lightly played first edition, 20 bones, one of here. And again, like the following trend with this set, this was just another solo print from this very exclusive set, and it's really good money. So that's, you know, that's kind of, I really don't know what else to say about this. So that means this card is, you know, it's the new market price. Obviously there's not a lot of availability, so it's 20 bones now. Neteria Beast is next. I'm specifically showcasing the secret rare versions from Hidden Arsenal 2. If I'm not mistaken, I believe these were the original first print runs that we ever got. Now, keep in mind, this set does come first edition, so the cards are not limited edition. They're unlimited and they're first edition. So, again, I highly recommend you guys go for first edition exclusively. But starting market price here, lightly played unlimited is going to be roughly around 7 bones. For lightly played near mint, it's going to be about 720. There's 5 pages of availability. First edition, lightly played, is going to be, you know, around 9 bones. Near mint first edition is going to be around 10 bones. We're going to switch over to stacks. There's 2 stacks in near mint first edition. Starting market price is going to be 20, which is actually an impressive 21 from Core TCG. This is an amazing seller. I buy from them all the time. Really reliable, really accurate. And then a 5 stack for the same thing, 20 bones. Personally, this is my favorite version. I mean, I love Secret Rare a lot. This card looks really, really great. This is, even though it's not a generic, I mean, this card would just be, like just ridiculous if it was generic. So, obviously, you have to use Earth Tuners, which kind of is a limitation to a certain extent. But this effect that you burn 2 to negate continuously any magic card is just so ridiculous. Like, I mean, I think it's safe to say this is one of the most dreaded synchros to be dropped on your opponent. Like, if you drop this on your opponent and, like, pretty much 75% of the game state is, you know, reliant on magic-based combos, magic triggers, whatever, it's going to be a problem. And this is the last card that you want your opponent to bust on you. There's a lot of crazy detrimental locks that go into this card. So, all around awesome. There is a couple other versions, of course. There's a very infamous Dual Terminal 2 Ultra Rares, which, you know, are DT Ultra Hollow Foils going for some ridiculous price points. Obviously, the most coveted print of this card. But there is also the Haunted Mine Gold Series. This and 2008-2009 Gold Series were really, really nice. These aren't quite as nice as the Gold Rares of 2008-2009. Gold Series Haunted Mine was obviously more geared towards the Ghost Gold hybrids. Still to the day, those are the only set that produce those Ghost Gold hybrids, which are still very much Ghost Rares and very much valued as so, and have been increasing like crazy of late. And it's, you know, really happy because I invested very, very heavily in the Ghost Gold hybrids. Fun fact, Haunted Mine is this only set to don the only trap card and the only magic card to ever have a ghost print so far in the whole history of the TCG, which is Mystical Space Typhoon and Solemn Judgment. So, rightfully so, some really amazing cards. What I wanted to talk about specifically, though, was the dual power ultras are insanely cheap. And, you know, this card, now granted, it is a really crappy rarity, but there's a lot of really blowout cards. Dual power was kind of like first in its kind because it was kind of the all ultra exclusive set that started all. Now, technically, if you want to go by history merit, Duelist Saga, in my opinion, was like the first all ultra rare exclusive subset that Konami, you know, promoted. But several years later, Dual Power came out, and there was a lot of anticipation behind this set, and there was a lot of amazing reprints, like, you know, pretty much all of the hand traps, ghost grills, and there's just, you know, impermanence, the first reprint of impermanence, and there's some pretty good value, and there's the prices of fluctuation and the value in this set have varied throughout the ages. And anyway, really great history merit behind this set, really great set, even though terrible, utterly disgusting rarities, but still very, very good history and merit behind dual power. This is insanely cheap though, so it's around 2 bones, and even though it's a really bad rarity, this is still a very, very good card, and depending if this card gets any reprints, I'm pretty sure this was the last reprint. It's pretty much 2 bones across the board. 3 pages availability on that. So anyway, just an amazing card. So if you guys have the opportunity, obviously I would go for the secrets if you guys can pull the funds to invest. I mean, this is like the ideal, most affordable price point for the best rarity. Obviously the DTs ones are incredible too, but those are just, you know, they're pretty fat in price tags. Alright, so next is going to be Destiny Draw. I'm a huge fan of just draw power in general. Draw power allows you to get to your combos, and it's just like every deck needs draw power. I don't care what you're playing, you always need to have draw power. I personally value draw power a lot, and it kind of just makes the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go around. This is specifically the commons out of Dual Terminal 3. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of hero players out there, and, you know, this is just a really good draw power for one of their engine types. They're roughly around a bone for lightly playeds. Before you factor in shipping, near mint is going to be around 2 bones. I'm going to switch over to the stacks. There is a 3 stack here for 2 bones, and then it goes to, you know, about a phantom under 3 for 17 after that. So, this is still really good, honestly. Again, you guys know my feelings about Dual Terminal. Dual Terminal is insanely aesthetically amazing. Very, very sought after by the player base. There is also 2 secret rare versions, so kind of like Legendary Collections 3 and Legendary Collection 4. Legendary Collection 2 and Raw Yellow Mega Pack. These ran parallel. They manufactured a lot of the same cards and the same rarities. These are also really great alternatives. They're surprisingly less. I mean, not really surprisingly. Legendary Collection 2 was the set that came before Raw Yellow Mega Pack, as well, I believe. So there's not as much. I mean, here's like a 1 stack for a bone, but you know, it's so affordable. You're gonna want to buy in bulk, and there actually, unfortunately, is no first edition bulk copies available. But if you go to the Raw Yellow Mega Pack, which again is still very much same rarity, high rarity, secret rare, and you can still get first edition prints, this has a little bit more availability. Again, same thing, lightly played first edition, about a bone. Switch over to stacks, there's a little bit more of playroom here. We get a 3 stack here for around a bone before you factor in shipping, and then here it goes to a bone with a 99-cent shipping, and there's a 4 stack. So interesting enough, it's definitely still attainable. There is only 1 page, but it's still very much attainable to get this very, very nice secret rare version of Destiny Draw. So between the first edition secrets of this and the Dual Terminal 3, obviously I think, I'm pretty sure the original prints, the Duos Pack 5 was the original prints. I have several copies of these first edition. These are going for pretty good money now too. But for aesthetics, personally, like if I didn't have the first edition Ultras, I would be going after the secrets, the DTs, and you know, I don't know what's going on with this. Is there just like no availability of the Dark Legends ones? Okay, and apparently the Dark Legends one is like, you know, chasing after 40 bones here. Starting market price is going to be 34, and there's only 1 page of availability. So again, Dark Legends, you know, a subset, and probably wasn't very highly produced and just very, very old, so not a lot of availability on the market, so it's donning a really fat price point. Next is going to be Gravekeeper's Spy. I love Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers is, in my opinion, one of the most, I mean, this is going to be very subjective because everyone likes different things, but I love Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers is one of my all-time, old-school, relatively per se, and I use this term loosely, Gen 1 deck cores. These dawned out of Pharaonic Guardian, which is very much part of the first 13 core sets, which I consider White Mexican Theory Gen 1 series, collector's market. And this is just Gravekeeper is just a really fun deck. It's not like super blowout and competitive or anything. It goes, you know, way back into the roots of like the origins of this game, and I love Egyptian stuff. I'm like borderline obsessed with like Egyptian style and Egyptian stuff, and of course, obviously, like this game was kind of based off of like Egyptian combat and like, you know, Egyptian era styled stuff, and you know, obviously the game is Japanese. It originated from Japan and all that, but anyway, it just really deep roots to like the beginning origins of the game, and it's a really fun deck. And I think it's relatively assumed, you know, just like Black Wings, just like Atlantean Mermill, there's a lot of just huge masses, I believe, of fanboy followers of this deck, and this is the best rarity in my personal opinion. I know there's super rares and secret rares and a whole bunch of craziness, and I pretty much have them all. The only ones I don't have the super rares, you know, just because the price points are too fat for what it is, and I really appreciate the secret firsts and the DTs more. But let's go ahead and look at some price points here. Starting market price is going to be roughly around 4 bones for a single stack near mint, and there is 3 pages of availability. We're going to switch over to stacks to check bulk pricings. Goes up to about 4 bones for this 3 stack here, and there is a nice 42 stack here near mint for 4 bones. So would not be surprised if people start to trickle down on this. Now granted, this card for the longest time, and I usually showcase this parallel with one of the Infernity cards. Which one is it? Infernity, I can't remember. One of the Infernity cards that came rare. I don't know if it was from DT6 or not, but the Infernity card, and I'm blanking, I apologize. It's anyway, this and the Infernity card that came rare, the level 4, was it Archfiend, I think? I can't remember. Anyway, the one where you like draw it, and if you draw it, you can show it to your opponent, and then you special summon, and when you special summon, if you have no cards in your hand, you can, I think, you can like dig out an Infernity card from your deck or something. Anyway, these cards were insanely cheap. Like, I remember, like, a couple years back, I was in Japan, I was, you know, doing my white Mexican theory, looking at cardboard on the internet, all that stuff, and these cards were so cheap. They were like under a bone a copy, and I bought these cards in mass, in bulk, for these DT rares because they just look gorgeous, they look amazing, and they're really amazing, nostalgic, like, key deck core pieces to these really old school fan favorite decks, so with really amazing history merit. So anyway, it's 4 bones now, which, you know, isn't a significant price increase, but it is a price increase, and these cards are only going to continue to dwindle on the market. So pretty incredible stuff on that. I am really quick going to showcase the secret rares. Obviously, again, Legendary Collection 4, really great stuff. There's the Champion Pack Super Rares, which are, man, this insanely GOAT format prices here. You know, 200 plus bones. So really awesome stuff on that. And then, of course, there was Ultra Rares as well, I want to say. Where did the Ultra Rares come from? It was... Okay, so Legendary Collection 3, down the Ultra Rares. Legendary Collection 4, down the Secret Rares, obviously. It's safe to assume the majority of the player base would want the secret rares, and these are roughly around 8 bones, 8-ish, 9 bones for first edition near mints. I'm gonna switch over to stacks, same price, about 9 bones. Well, 9 bones for this 3 stack, and then it goes straight to 20. So quickly increasing on that, and rightfully so. Gravekeeper Spy is a real badass. Alright, so the last card I have to showcase for you guys tonight is going to be appropriate, specifically the super rare reprints out of Mystic Fighters. Now, I would not discredit the first edition PSV Pharaoh Servant, lightly played or better, lightly played near mint, first edition Pharaoh Servants, rares. Those are the original print, part of Gen 1, very nostalgic, very collectible, but, you know, these are hollow foils as super rares, and Mystic Fighters is very new. This isn't an old set at all, and this card is just insanely cheap. There's so many ridiculous combos behind this card, and this is ridiculously good draw power. The activation condition is really not that strict. You can pretty much bust this out pretty much turn 2. I mean, it has to be at least turn 2. Obviously, it's a trap card. You have to set it first turn, but I just think this is insanely undervalued for what it is. I'm really happy that we finally got a hollow holofoil of this. Now, granted, they just gave it a super rare, but still, this is we were very fortunate to get a holofoil of this. I think this looks great in the super rare rarity, and this card is just insane. Like, we can even see like starting market price of stacks. Like, there's a 23 stack here, near mint, first edition, everything that you need all together, not even a quarter, 15 cents. This is insanely cheap. Now, 5+ pages, obviously there's a lot of availability because, again, Mystic Fighters is, you know, not that old, and it really wasn't, you know, a blowout subset. There really wasn't too many cards that were really popular from the set, or that really kind of had longevity of value, holding value. But this is definitely one of the MVPs of the set. Again, this was kind of a little lesser known set. People didn't really talk about this. This wasn't really an anticipated set, and there's a lot of cards like that in this set. They're just really great, like just sleeping gems. And this was the card that I decided to showcase specifically from that set tonight. That's all I have for you guys tonight. Link below is going to be to my Facebook. Any of you guys can add me, message me. I would love to talk about anything Yu-Gi-Oh related with you guys. Yu-Gi-Oh has been part of my life for almost 2 decades. I feel extremely compassionate about this game. I love the trading, the deck building, the creativity, the brotherhood, the friendships, the investing. There's so many amazing things that goes into this hobby, and anyone can harness it. Anyone can enjoy the excitement and the fun and the entertainment of this game if they just choose to invest the time and effort into this amazing and beautiful community and hobby of Yu-Gi-Oh! Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, staying safe, making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh! Investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I'll see you in the next video.